This is breaking news.
Happening right now, Newark Mayor Ras Baraka and other local officials are holding a press conference regarding the shooting of 9 people last month. Let's go to that.
Taken very, very, very seriously, not just the incident itself, but the circumstances that led to the incident, and making sure that incidents like this will not happen again. Police have been vigorously investigating the shooting since its inception. The shooters arrived at Clinton Place in St. James driving a 2021 white Honda Pilot. That vehicle had been reported stolen out of Jersey City the day before on June 29th. Following the shooting, the Honda Pilot fled the scene, heading east on Lehigh from Clinton Place. The suspects who stole the Honda Pilot arrived in Jersey City using a 2016 black BMW X1. That vehicle had also been reported stolen out of New York on June 29th. Both stolen vehicles have been recovered in Newark. The Honda Pilot was recovered at Elizabeth Avenue in Stingle, and the BMW X1 was recovered on Hunterdon Street. It appears the shooting was a result of two groups in a dispute, one from Goodwin and Shepherd, the other the 500 block of Elizabeth Avenue. Police arrested one 17-year-old male from Newark who faces charges of receiving stolen property for the BMW, obstruction of administration of law, and resisting arrest. The investigation is ongoing. Our goal is to bring each suspect involved to justice. I am confident that that will in fact be done. Each one of the victims in this case obviously deserves that. We want to thank the New Jersey Attorney General Matthew Platkin and his office for their support on this investigation, which they were very, very helpful in making sure we got to this point today. We provide any additional updates, as we go on. Any questions that people may have, we have a host of people here that can answer them. Yes.
As the temperature rises during the summer months, what is Newark's plan to stop shooting violence in the city?
Well, I can say, I'll let the director and the chief talk, but I'll say that, every summer we always have a summer plan that obviously involves more patrols, more targeted intervention, of course, as well as the Office of Violence Prevention and Trauma Recovery. We have more safe summer activities for young people. We target young people who are usually involved in issues. We have about 100 of them targeted now for employment and jobs and training this summer. So there's a full court press that we usually do every summer, which because of that, we enjoy, the fact that our shootings are a little bit down, our homicides are a little bit down. We want to continue to do that, and we're going to see that happen throughout this summer as well. So anybody else? Chief.
As the mayor said, we're going to have our Office of Violence Prevention. They're going to be out there working with our youth. They have a couple of programs already set up to speak to them. On the police side, we're just going to have more officers on the streets. We have officers that are going to be coming out of some of the detective bureaus to be out on patrol and be seen out there.
I have a second follow-up. Is this like, when you talk about groups, is it like gang related?
No, I wouldn't say it's gang related. There's no evidence that any of this is about gang activity. In fact, more than 60% of the violence in Newark happens because of personal disputes anyway.
Could you give us specifics about the youth programs? I mean, what type are they, how do they get the kids off the street, and how do they really tackle this?
Well, the Office of Violence Prevention is in touch with the Newark Police Department. They work hand in hand. We obviously identify specific young people that have had interactions with law enforcement, maybe multiple times. We target them for training and classes. We actually pay them to go to school classes in the summer. We try to put them in alternative kind of programming, one, to keep them engaged, try to steer their lifestyle away from what's already been going on that has been negative. And if we get 5 or 6 of them, we think is good, but we target anywhere between 50 to 100 young people in the summer. We did it last summer, and we're going to do it this summer as well.
You mentioned this off the top. It's really just a moment late. The victims, did you give an update on them?
Yeah, all of the, by grace of God, all of the victims are stable. Nobody has died from this incident, thank God, but it's still a tragic and horrible scene, and by God's grace, nobody is dead.
Any other questions? Jackie Roman with Denver.com. I just want to ask, in general, is there anything you want to say to the city of Newark, people who might just be a little afraid that this happened, and just people who also might have these own disputes going forward and may feel that they want to act in violence? What would you say?
Well, I would say this, that if you decide that you want to resort to violence or use guns in the streets of Newark, you will be caught. You will be caught and you will be prosecuted. The people who did this will be caught. We are very, very confident that justice will be done in this case, that these individuals will be brought to justice. We have been doing a great job in the investigation. There's much more work to do to make sure we have a solid case, but I think that I'm confident that something positive will happen as a result of this. And anybody else who decides to do this will also, I would say in less than 24 hours, the police department, along with the with the Attorney General's office, worked incredible, leads to make sure we got even to this point today. And for all of us that are out here trying to enjoy the summer and have a good time, I want to say, one, this is not a arbitrary kind of random incident of violence. This is two groups that have been going back and forth. We know who they are. We've identified who they are. We know where they hang at, where they gather at. We are definitely going to be focused on them, whether they were involved in this shooting specifically or not. We will give them the opportunity through the Office of Violence Prevention and Trauma Recovery to make sure they do everything else to move away from the lifestyle that they've engaged themselves in. If they have not, then the police department, the prosecutor's office, the Attorney General, the U.S. Attorney, the Essex County Sheriff, and all the forces that we have, we brought to bear on them to make sure that their lives is just as comfortable as they make in everybody else's.